Trump goes nuclear on world trade to fix America. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. Bill Ackman, a billionaire and Trump supporter, has said this: the U.S. risks economic nuclear war if it doesn't scale back tariffs immediately. Bill Ackman likes to get involved in every possible disaster he can. He made a couple of $1 billion when we had the COVID nonsense. I think he sincerely feels this way. I think he feels it's important to follow Bill Ackman's strategy to try to calm things down and not have so much conflict when it comes to world trade. Trump, on the other hand, has no fear of conflict, and he knows it's necessary to win. You can't win unless you have a confrontation with someone who isn't willing to back down. And it's China, and it's Europe, and it's Australia. It is world trade. He's resetting world trade. That's what's going on. Peter Navarro from the Trump administration says Vietnam's 0% tariff offer is not enough. Quote, it's the non-tariff cheating that matters. Because it's not just about how much you're charging us when we try to import goods into your country. It's about non-tariff barriers. Things like VAT taxes that are charged in Europe, which are sales taxes that they do charge on all goods, not just imported goods, but they take the money from those things and give it back to their manufacturers. So how is a U.S. car manufacturer supposed to sell a car into Europe when there's an additional, sometimes 20% tax charged on the thing, and the money from those taxes go back to their car manufacturers? We can't compete with that. Or there are rebates for energy or other supports for their local manufacturers. And while American stock markets have gone down, international stock markets are doing worse. They're getting destroyed. Because even though Bill Ackman has been saying, hey, look, if you don't create stability and call off this global trade war, what CEO would want to invest in America? Because you don't have the confidence of these CEOs. Well, the answer is because America is literally the only investable country. If America wasn't so important, such an important customer to all these other countries, to all these other companies, to all these other entire governments, their entire system for operating. You think there could be a communist system operating at the level it's operating at in China if it wasn't for the U.S. supporting, purchasing the things that they export? There would not be. What would the value of the stock in a Chinese company be if the United States said, no, we're not going to take your exports anymore? Zero. That's what the value would be. Because what would your business be in the business of doing if not to create things to sell it to the United States? Now, they do sell things to other countries, but the United States is such a significant customer of every country, not the one with the penguins, that without the United States, many of these companies and many of these countries really could not continue to exist the way they're existing. Trump is not looking to wipe out every country or to make them change their governments. He's just simply saying this: if you have a massive trade deficit with the United States, meaning if you're selling us a lot more than you're buying from us, you better figure out how to fix that, and you better figure it out fast. Because if you don't, we're not going to continue to do business with you this way. And if we do buy things from you, we're going to get a massive tariff from you. And while it's true that a tariff is something that's paid by an importer, not directly by the country who is exporting the goods, the countries subsidize these importers. They reduce their prices. They have to do that or the flow of goods does not continue. A tariff is a tax on producers. It's not really a tax on consumers. We've been through this already from the first administration from Trump. Prices did not go up when we had the massive taxes on China. They're not going up again. Chamath Palihapitiya is a self-made billionaire, and he's got a pretty good insight on what's going on. His opinion is that Trump is looking to kind of remake world trade and let everybody participate in it, but on terms that are set by America. No more of this everybody gets to live off of America anymore. Everyone's going to have to contribute their part, and their countries can do just fine. Their governments, their people can do just fine. But America has to do fine first. We are the customer after all. We are the one you have to impress. That's the whole purpose of the economic war. Here's what Chamath says. His best current view: Trump lets tariff reactions play out for a few weeks, sees the trend of capitulations, and is emboldened to keep going. He fields offers from everyone, negotiates with no one. Then he brings everyone to Mar-a-Lago in a month or two and puts an offer on the table. Bretton Woods 2.0. It's simpler and more effective to have one grand bargain than negotiate piecemeal with 80 plus countries. Bretton Woods 1.0 was a reordering of our financial system after World War II. This would be 2.0, Trump's New Deal for the world. And I agree. And I know it's a little silly to read your own tweets, but here we go. This is what I said to Bill Ackman. When you're the customer, you don't need to gain the confidence of the seller. We don't need the EU's or China's confidence. We need them to open their markets or forget about selling to ours. It's enough already with subsidizing every country on the planet. And subsidizing every country on the planet is what we've been doing. And we're continuing to do business with them. We have no problem with doing business with them for the most part. But it's going to be on our terms because we're paying for all of it. And we're not just paying for all of it with the United States dollar. Living standards in the United States have gone down dramatically because we don't have jobs that add value to the products and services we produce at the level that we used to. When you're in manufacturing and you hire someone to do manufacturing, that human being's labor added to machinery produces a product that has a market value that allows us to pay a lot of money or a decent amount of money to someone to work a job who could then have a family, own a house, have a middle-class lifestyle. All of that was given away with these terrible trade deals over the last few decades. And all of that's getting canceled. It's true we're going to have robots. We're going to have technology increase. We've always had technological advancements that threatened labor, that threatened job opportunities. That's going to continue to happen. But what's not going to happen is that the next technological revolution is going to take place in China or Pakistan or somewhere other than the United States and have the United States pay for all of that by buying all of their products while those countries don't buy our products or don't allow us to even compete fairly in their markets. That's not going to happen. Even Politico, that does not like Trump, went and actually did some journalism, talked to some trade people in different countries, some representatives, and realized it looks like Trump's going to win. From Politico, why Trump may get away with his tariff trauma. As President Trump announced historically high tariffs across the world this week, Politico expected a number of affected governments to rapidly and collectively fight back. Instead, with the exception of China and a few scattered reprisals from allies, we're seeing mainly cautious reactions. Foreign officials are talking about calibrated responses and keeping a cool head. Some are clearly hoping diplomacy will persuade Trump to back off some or many of his tariffs. But in conversations with diplomats, economists, and former U.S. officials, Politico asked why. Weren't they concerned this muddled, cautious global reaction would be too weak to persuade Trump to change course or even embolden him to get tougher? The experts argue that there are compelling reasons why many governments are not acting fast or in unison, not the least of which is that the world's countries are not good collective action, and many believe they have a better shot at accomplishing more for themselves at least if they avoid escalating the fight with Trump. There is no escalating the fight with your best customer. What are you going to say? I refuse to sell things to you? Try it with pharmaceuticals. Try it with something the United States actually really needs. I need to go out and buy some new furniture. In fact, I was looking at it this weekend and saying, it's time. Now, maybe it's going to be more expensive than it would have been a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Maybe it'll be even more expensive 3 weeks from now. I don't know. Do I need to buy new furniture though? You know what? I actually don't need to. It would be nice to. It's about time. That's America, the consumer. We don't need a new car tomorrow. We could buy a new car tomorrow. We could buy a German car. We could buy a car made in the US. But do we urgently need one? No. And we're the customer. The customer can decide, you know what? We're going to buy this when it suits us. The people that are selling it, they need to keep jobs. They need to keep operating. They need to keep exporting. Do you know what happens to the kind of socialist, soon to become communist EU if they aren't able to continuously ship goods to the United States? What are they going to ship them to China? The EU is doing a lot of business with China, sending them machinery over the last couple of years. They're not sending them as much machinery anymore. Do you know why? Because it was machinery not for China to consume, but for China to make more goods to primarily sell to the United States. Without the United States as the ultimate consumer, not even just customer, the customer buys, the consumer uses what's bought. Without a willing consumer, the entire supply chain, all of those businesses have nothing. They're worthless. They will not continue to exist. They continue. It's not clear if any moves by any countries will deter Trump's tariff mania. They will not. Trump has been a proponent of tariffs for many years, a product of his long-held belief that America's trade deficits mean that other countries are ripping off the United States. even if that's not how trade deficits work. Except look at the quality of life in the United States over the past several decades. Yes, we've got some great technology. We even have the internet. We have YouTube. But do you own a house? Do you have a family? How many children do you have? Remember the Brady Bunch? That was a lot of kids, but it wasn't inconceivable for a middle-class family to have like 6 kids or something. This trade policy has destroyed the structure of the American family. It's not the only element of it, but it's a major element of it. There's nothing wrong with women deciding they want to work and moms not being stay-at-home moms, but it should be a choice, not a necessity. And these days, it's much more of a necessity than it's a choice. That's not America. Countries had months to prepare for Trump's tariffs, including devising their own menus of retaliatory actions. But Trump in his second term seems to have a much bigger goal than he did in the past, a complete restructuring of the US economy. It's really a complete restructuring of the world economy. The bottom line is that when it comes to Trump today, quote, "We don't know what the pain threshold is," said Brian Gardner, a chief Washington policy strategist. Whatever it is, it's significantly higher than people had previously estimated, as if Trump was going to back down because of some negative headlines. That's not going to work. The US economy, unlike other economies, is big and diverse, with the ability to absorb significant shocks, meaning the pain could take a while to feel. But what if the infliction of pain comes from a coalition of countries, governments banding together to strategically hit the US economy? Would that make Trump think twice? Nice in theory, but it's not realistic. According to the people that Politico spoke to, governments simply don't easily come together to unite in action, even when they're faced with a common threat. And what's the common threat? You have a customer that keeps your government in business, and keeps your businesses in business, and keeps all of your people in your country fed and alive. You have that customer. Your customer wants better terms. You need to do better for your customer. Give them a better deal. Give them a better price. Work with them. Up until now, these other countries have not done that. They're about to start to beg to do that. And I'm not trying to humiliate any other countries here. I'm just saying that's what's going to happen. Each government has its own national interest and doesn't trust others won't stab them in the back, according to one foreign diplomat who likened it to the classic prisoner's dilemma. Remember how little global solidarity there was during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic as countries raced to secure medical supplies? The European Union is a long-established exception on the trade front, and it says it's preparing at least 2 sets of retaliatory tariffs, though it's spacing them out reportedly in hopes of negotiations. But other groupings have yet to emerge to take on Trump's tariffs. Many countries are still trying to sift through the details of Trump's announced tariffs, but they've come to accept that he's going to tariff the world somehow. So they're looking for ways to negotiate a better deal than others. Quote, "I can't be the last one to reach a deal with Trump because if I'm the last one, then I'm the one who's going to get screwed," the foreign diplomat said. Like others, the diplomat was granted anonymity to be candid about a sensitive issue. Quote, "If I'm the first one to reach the deal, then it might be the most advantageous possible thing. And compared to other countries, I'll be better off. And so my trade will suffer relatively less. Because the United States is the customer. And these guys are making things and selling them to the United States. The United States will be dictating the terms. That's the way it is." One former Trump administration official said that he gets the sense from some foreign officials that they're relieved the tariffs were actually milder than they expected, even though they're still crazy high. Affected countries, quote, "think they can basically over the next couple of months quietly negotiate. They'll make a couple of concessions, maybe on trade, maybe on defense, maybe on other things, and things will get adjusted," according to the official. The US also has leverage over many countries in areas well beyond trade, and Trump isn't afraid to blur the lines, not even with a NATO ally such as Canada. He's not above threatening to walk away from, for instance, security cooperation over what might seem like a wholly unrelated trade dispute. And this is because Trump represents the American people. He needs to get things done for the American people. How he gets those things done, we do care, but not that much. If it's going to be at the expense of another country or their people who are living at the expense of the American people, then that's what has to happen. As countries debate how to respond, the pain threshold that might matter most is not Trump's, but that of his fellow Republicans, especially those in Congress, who have the ability to stop and reverse these tariffs. They have some ability to make some trouble for Trump, but it's unlikely they could really use that ability. They can have a resolution, they can try to pass a law, but unless that law is veto-proof, meaning that Trump can't stop it, Trump will just stop it. One of the biggest costs of Trump's trade war is the trust of other countries in America as a stable, reliable pillar of global trade. We don't need to be a reliable customer under all circumstances so that you can build your entire country and your entire culture and your entire way of life based on the expense of America's way of life, of America's opportunities, of America's culture. That's what's been going on. And now it's not going on anymore. Because in this major trade rebalancing, if you're a country that's doing things for America, not just selling us products, but doing things for us that we really want, if you're buying from us, what we're buying from you, then you're a friend to the country and you're helping us accomplish what we're looking to accomplish. But no, we don't need to be a guaranteed customer for every country in the world if it doesn't support a better American way of life. And we have standards in this country, and they're not going down anymore. They're only going up. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.